What's up, Magnetic Men Club community? We're here again with another live. Like I said, we're just trying to dial in exactly what days and what times work best for this whole community. So if you guys have any feedback on that, let us know for sure. Just hit the comments down below. Let us know exactly what day and time is best for you, and we'll start to try and dial that in and make sure everybody can make it here and get their questions answered. And so this is a topic that we actually put out a video on just the other day. First things first, though, I'm Chase Snow. I've been in marketing for over 10 years, and I'm the marketing coach on this side of things. So if you guys ever need help with your business, with your marketing, whatever it is, we've got coaches in our whole network that can basically make that happen for you. I'm joined by my friend here, Jerod.
Hey, guys, Jerod Schoonmaker. Been self-employed in various different sectors, probably for the last 21 years. And my main focus now, besides my other brands I run, my main focus is helping men level up their own lives so that they can be what we call magnetic men. And it's through self-development, self-coaching, and really just performance coaching, helping them understand the gaps that maybe they don't realize they have, but through our conversations, through our coaching calls, they start recognizing them, and then we work on a game plan to shrink those gaps so that they can level up and be the best version of themselves.
Exactly. And then the whole community aspect of it, too, is one of my favorite things about it, because we have a lot of men in this community who have been through a lot of different things, and everybody comes from every kind of walk of life, and we've got some help and some advice for you, no matter what it is that you're struggling with. So definitely get in the community. Those links will be below. I'll have the link to the video that we're referencing inside of this live. We'll have the link to our Facebook group down there too. And then if you guys want to book your free consultation, actually get a conversation here with Jerod, then we also have that available on our website too. And we'll have that link down there too. So without further ado, the topic for today is basically sexual discipline. And so it's something that's kind of like a taboo topic. It's not something that we see a lot of people talking about. It's something that we just kind of wanted to cover as a whole, because it's a super important part of what we're trying to achieve here. It's a super important part of being a masculine man and stuff too, and like actually increasing that attraction level and actually being true to the name, magnetic men. And so without further ado here, what exactly is sexual discipline to you, Jerod?
Yeah, in order to kind of keep it a little PG, but it's just kind of controlling the little head. We'll leave it like that, but it goes a little bit more. It's having, it's just being mentally and emotionally strong. It's not, I use kind of just caving to your whims, caving to your desires. And, men who have that ability, men who are able to just focus on their careers, focus on their bodies, focus on their health, their nutrition, and not just throw themselves or throw their little head in everything or everyone.
Right.
They develop what I always call, and we call it here, is they all develop their own personal signature brand. And that brand is something that men have worked on, you hope, all their lives.
Right.
And so once they get to the point where their brand is something that they can be proud of, women tend to find those guys. They don't have to go out and search for those guys. I've often found that guys who are not disciplined in any area of their life definitely aren't sexually disciplined, but they have zero discipline in anything in their life. So we can call it sexual discipline, but it's also just being disciplined emotionally, being disciplined mentally. All of those things contribute to sexual discipline. Right. We don't want to, I'm 47. I was young once. We all were. We all had raging testosterone in our body. I'm not saying at any point in my life I was the way I am now. But as you get older, you hope, or what we coach is to help men kind of get past those points, level up, understand that having sexual discipline is very attractive to women, the high quality women. The low quality women, not so much, but we're trying to get high quality women. You're a high quality guy, you deserve a high quality woman. So having sexual discipline is such a huge turn on for women. It's mind blowing that when they truly feel safe, that you're not just going to go out and blank anything that you see. You have other stuff to do. They feel very connected to you. They feel very safe. They trust you. Trust is a huge thing. And if you can do those things, and your girl's not going anywhere. With all the jokers that are out there, all these beta simps, there's way more men out there who have zero discipline than there are men who have discipline, who have these things. And those men typically are your 1%, 2%ers, 3%ers of the world. And that's what women want. Women want the top, typically 10% of men. And in that top 10%, most of those guys are high achievers and they have discipline. They have sexual discipline, they have emotional discipline. And that's what we're trying to level our guests, our people that want help. We're trying to level them up to that level.
Well, yeah, I actually like how you compared it to a personal brand, because like it is your personal brand, and that's exactly what makes you magnetic at the end of the day too. Like you have your own particular target audience, and once you kind of identify who that target audience is, like basically people you're just trying to help essentially. Being with the background in marketing, that actually really speaks to me, because at the end of the day, like you have a personal brand, like your friends know you for certain things, your family knows you for certain things, and it's really part of marketing yourself. And so as you kind of increase that marketing on that end, like this is just one big thing that you can do to try and market yourself and create a more powerful brand for yourself, which just opens doors for you in the future and creates a legacy for you to leave behind and stuff too. So it is really important stuff. And like, that's really what businesses are trying to do at the end of the day to market themselves. Is like, they're trying to be more human and add a lot more of these human elements so that they can actually correlate with the people that they're trying to target and stuff too. And so at the end of the day, like it really just comes down to, it's a distraction. Like it just kind of distracts you, gets you off track and keeps you off your goals and makes it so you don't have time to achieve certain things. And like, so it's just like, it's really like, it's all you're thinking about all the time. It's like, it rots your brain to a certain aspect, I think too. And so it's like, every time you see a girl at all, like you immediately start thinking about that stuff, and you just have so many triggers for it. And so I think a lot of men do struggle with this at the end of the day, but at the end of, like, I mean, it's really up to you how you want to handle it. And so that's really what this coaching and stuff is all about. And so let's just kind of get into that a little bit. Like, so what does a lack of sexual discipline kind of look like?
Oh God. I mean, it could be, just watching porn all the time, playing with yourself, masturbation, just trying to get a release. It's such a lack of discipline. You're just trying to get a release. Even going on dating apps. I mean, I know, dating apps, I always tell my clients to stay off of them, but the ones that are on them, just swiping right on every single girl, not reading anything, just doesn't matter. She's good looking, just right. They're using the law of numbers behind them. They're just trying to get as much, likes as they can and then filter out through there. I mean, that's in a way it's a lack, because it kind of signals you're just taking anything. You'll just screw anything. So something as simple as that, even as simple as we've done a video on this, on just your beta simps, on hearting, liking, commenting on women you don't know on social media, Instagram, any of those places where you're just giving your attention away. That shows a woman in a way that you lack sexual discipline, because your attention is worth nothing. You're giving it away to every woman that's out there. So she inherently knows your attention doesn't mean anything. So even something as simple as that will signal to a woman, this guy's got no discipline. Doesn't he have a job? Like, why isn't he working? Why every time do I post a pic, he's the first one to heart it? Why does, and you see it time and time again. And then it goes even further to that, where I was just watching this thread. It was kind of funny where other males will go in and try to, like, I'll save you, m'lady. And they'll start bashing other guys, and she's just like, I don't want any of you guys. Like, what, they're
Right.
just giving up their time. All men have is our time and our attention. That is it. We cannot give anything else. Those are the two most important things we can give to our business associates, the women in our lives, our kids, is our time and attention. So you have to make it count. So do you want to be a guy who's just freely giving out his attention everywhere he goes? Or do you want it to be reserved so that when there is somebody you truly like and she's reciprocating back to you, then there's that exchange. It's an even exchange of energy, even exchange of thing. And, having a lack of that is just vomiting out everything. Simping is the baseline. Simping is your base core. Once a woman identifies you as a simp, there's nowhere else you can go from there. You're just a simp, aka a simpleton. There's no depth to you. So it's very important. And porn is a huge one. I always talk about it. The rewiring that happens in your brain, that it's just an unhealthy situation to be in for a guy. So if you are continually watching porn, the very first thing to do is just stop that. Just stop it. It's sad to actually, nobody admits it, yet it's the biggest industry out there.
Yeah.
And then even places. Yeah, even guys going to OnlyFans or these sites where they're talking to women, they're paying women to talk. That lacks sexual discipline as well. You might have a wife downstairs taking care of the kids or a girlfriend, and you're up talking to some other girl. You have no discipline. So it's a huge topic. It's not talked about a lot, but guys who can really understand this and lock this down become way more valuable to society as a whole.
Like I said, I mean, it's a big distraction. Like it just gets you off track. And so it's like you have these big goals. I mean, at least you say you do. And at the end of the day, like as soon as you see some girl on social media, or maybe you catch a glimpse of something at the bar or something like that, or maybe at the coffee shop, and like you immediately start fantasizing. Like it's just this big distraction for a lot of men. And so a lot of them don't really understand exactly how distracting it can be and how much it's keeping them from exactly who they want to be. And so at the end of the day, like when you're your best self, is this something that your best self would do? Like you always just kind of have to compare yourself to that best version of yourself and like really make that manifesto for yourself that, I'm probably not a person who's going to spend all my time thinking about that because I've got some bigger things that I want to do in the world. I'm driven. And it's really just kind of part of those mechanisms that we help a lot of people implement into their lives. And so like, that's a big part of it though. It's like understanding exactly who your best self is and who the best version of yourself is so that you can aim yourself in that direction. And you obviously know that this is something that's a big part of that. Like this is something that you really should have in mind when you're trying to create that best version of yourself, because is this something that your best version of yourself would do? And so I would wager that in almost every single case for somebody who's on that kind of a mission, the answer is no, because obviously it's something that's extremely distracting. It's something that really gets in the way, and it's something that really just kind of isn't good for your brand, just like we kind of discussed too. So at the end of the day, what are some of the benefits of exercising sexual discipline? So we talked about the negative side and kind of what that looks like and how these simps and beta males are out there just kind of swooning over a lot of these women. But at the end of the day, like what does it look like when somebody actually does have this on lock? They are actually exercising their sexual discipline.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that because it's actually being attacked right now on the the woke mob is attacking. Really, it's an iconic symbol at growing up is James Bond. Do you remember James Bond, the movies where he's well dressed, he's very reserved, he just plays it nonchalantly. He's obviously an undercover spy, but just think about all of those attributes that he has. Now, I know it's a movie, but just think about that. What is happening in that? Women are throwing themselves at him, because he's not trying to have sex with them. They're trying to have sex with him. It's a complete flip. So he has discipline. Of course, in this scenario, he's a spy, but just look at the spirit of that individual. He's on his path and purpose. He's obviously very handsome. He dresses well. He's, by all intents and purposes, a very high status guy. Right. So women come to him. Women are throwing themselves at him in this. So the benefit is to being to having discipline as a whole. Okay. To being able to say no, or to control the little head in certain situations. Women tend to really gravitate for that. You kind of hear buzzwords like, I don't know what happened, it just happened, or I felt like I had to throw myself at him, because he's being a little nonchalant. Yes, of course, men want to sleep with the girl. Of course, we're not talking about that, but he's not, his main focus isn't trying to get her in bed. His main focus should be to qualify her if she's going to be a member of his team, of his brand. So you only want to bring in women that will actually help complement your life and not just go out. That's a better way to think about it. If you're really a high value guy, you're trying to get to that level, why would you just sleep or go with the barfly down the road who everybody has ran through? That weakens your brand. Yeah, you got some, but that was easy. Everybody had her. The better approach is to level yourself up so much, have so much to offer the right woman. So when they come in, you're able to qualify them and say, you know what? I like what you're bringing to my value. I like what you're bringing in here. Let's see where this goes. And because you're not needy, you're not thirsty, because she knows you're not out on social media simping and all this crap, she's going to look at you as like, where the hell did this guy come from? Like, this isn't normal. It's not. That's the thing. We try to educate guys. You don't want to be like the herd. You don't want to be like the masses. The masses are very easily just replicate them. Just do what they do, and you're going to be one of them. Right. You got to put in the work. You got to put in the discipline, the energy, the effort, the sacrifice, the determination to level yourself up. And if you're out there just, the red pill community calls it spinning plates. It is a form, constantly dating, constantly just on dating apps and doing all this stuff. Unless you have a shit ton of money and your companies are running by themselves, that is not the energy that you should be putting out. You should be out there. So, the benefit to doing it this way is you're going to get better quality women coming into your life, contacting you because you're different, because you're not like everybody else. And that's what you want. A woman's best, a woman, they're going to deny it, but women prefer to chase the man than the man chase the woman. Now you hear it, and you probably got women watching this, and they all say, oh, I ain't chasing no man. If a multimillionaire who has his shit together has an interest in you, but he's busy, he has other stuff, other women are pining to him, you're going to start chasing a little bit, or you're gone. He's just not going to deal with you. So the benefits outweigh that cost to actually do it, to say no, to have morals, to have character. The benefits outweigh it. And your sex is better. Look at it. If you're truly in a committed relationship with a girl and she knows she's not going to get an STD, she knows you're not out doing weird stuff on the side. Right. The level of trust that she has for you will equate into the level of sexual benefits that she's going to give you. She doesn't trust you. She doesn't trust you. You're going to get very limited, if any, access.
So I think a lot of guys out there too, might even have the question, well, why do I want a high value woman? It's like, I think that it's just like you kind of talked about, like the different benefits that you get from having a high quality woman in your life, and like basically what that means for you, like taking care of everything and making sure that you can actually like, because they're your partner for a reason. And so that's the big thing, is like that partnership creates this kind of rocket fuel. And so I know, like, kind of just equating it to business, it's kind of the same thing when you have that visionary kind of integrator side of things too on that side. But even like treating this like a brand, because you want to make sure that you have somebody who's qualified to represent your brand and that kind of stuff too. And so it's a really good way to kind of think about it and strategize around it. And so I think, like I said, for me, it really just becomes that rocket fuel, and that rocket fuel in your business and your personal development, and actually like what you can actually do with that kind of energy too. That's the kind of thing with this polarity too, like between masculine and feminine energies, that kind of stuff too, if you're into that stuff, obviously. But at the end of the day, like, it just really, the best way that I can say it is it creates that rocket fuel. And so how can sexual discipline actually improve your relationship and overall sex life?
Well, it's just basically like I said kind of before, like the less thirsty that you are. If we're talking about in the beginning of a relationship, the front end of a relationship, let's use that as an example. But the less thirsty you are in the beginning, you're still doing the things, you're still running your companies, you're still doing whatever, and she's entering your life. What a lot of guys will do is they're just so quick to get to that finish line. They're just so quick. I gotta nail this down, and they might put a 3-date limit or whatever, there's a lot of crap that goes out there, and they say, if she's not putting out in 4 dates, then I'm done with her. She's wasting my time and all that. Well, but by looking at it that way, then you've actually just kind of created resistance in that quote unquote relationship to begin with. So it's just kind of allowing it to happen. And really what you want to do is, in the beginning, is you almost make her want it more. And that's just by being indifferent, I should say. Not, automatically talking about sex all the time, automatically leading with sex, getting to know them, being a little bit nonchalant about it, getting her emotionally invested in you so that she's going to want to have sex with you, not feel pressured by, oh, it's date 4 and I'm just not ready. And, you don't want to put these caps on women, or these rules in a relationship. And that's what a lot of guys will do. And whether it's a rule that they express or a rule that they have, get rid of the rule. Just have emotional discipline. Just control the little head a little bit. Just let it happen. It's that analogy of the cake. I know it sounds corny, but guys are so fast to get into bed and so fast to get into a relationship that they'll speed up the cake analogy. They'll take the directions. If you want a great relationship, just read the directions on the cake box, get those ingredients, and do what the box says. Well, guys will be like, well, I don't have sugar. I got salt. I'm going to throw some salt in here. Oh, it says 300. Right. It says, 350 degrees. I'm going to do it to 400. It'll get faster. And then they keep opening up the door. The cake flattens out. They're such in a hurry to get to that goal or to get into that relationship that they don't just let it happen. And if they could just step back and say, okay, she's into me, it will happen. We're having a good time getting to know each other, blah, blah, blah. She's going to start getting to the point where if you're a little bit off of it, where you're not pushing it, she'll start to push it. She'll want it. And you want her to want it. You don't want her to feel like she has to give it to you in order to keep you. Yeah. That's what a lot of women I talk to about. It's like a lot of them will say, well, I slept with him. I thought it was a little too early. 2 months later, now we're not together anymore because it was too fast. Like all of this stuff happens too fast. So I just think it's a better way, especially if you're busy, especially if you have a lot going on, to just let it happen. Now, push a little bit. Obviously, you want to know that you want her, but not that so much that now she's going to be chased away. And a
Right.
lot of guys will chase that away. They'll just overly talk about sex or overly get into it early on. And she's like, geez, this dude just wants to have sex. That's all he wants. And then that turns her off.
That's common.
Yeah. So the benefit to it is just you almost want to make it her idea. You want to make her be like, I'm going to nail this guy. I'm taking this guy down. This guy is not like all these other guys hitting after me. He doesn't really even contact me that much. We have a great time when we're together, but he's not up my ass. It's all about giving space and letting that attraction build. It's a huge thing, especially early on. If you don't give that space, you're going to burn fast. It always happens. How many relationships have you seen where even maybe your friends or maybe back in the day where you're together so fast, so much, and 2 months later, it fizzled out.
Sick of each other. Yeah, no.
It can't be sustained. It cannot be sustained. So I'd rather have a slow burn. And then once you are in that sexual relationship, man, the sex is just so much better. You're not just having sex for a release. You're not just blowing a load.
Yeah, for sure.
And I gotta say, because it's a channel, listen, guys, if that's what you want to do, that's fine. I'm not saying if you don't want to go out, if you want to go out and be a player, if you want to go out and have, sex with random women, that's your right. That's completely fine. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm just saying what I advocate for, if you're looking to get into a relationship or an LTR or a marriage, that won't work.
No.
If you want to do that, that's fine. Just be honest with the girl. Let her know, hey, I'm just interested in sex. You'd be surprised how many women out there will be fine with it. There's tons of women that are community property right now. They'll just sleep with anyone. So it's fine.
It is what it is, right? And so that's the biggest thing too, is understanding that this is all just like dynamics of a strong personal brand. And so that's one of the big things I kind of took away from this too, is the fact that I think that thinking of it in that way kind of provides you with its own strategies too. But at the same time, like we've talked about exactly what it is. We talked about how it kind of hurts you. We've talked about how it kind of helps you. And so I think what a lot of these guys might want to take away from this too is what exactly can they do to help them turn this around, like to help them exactly like get control over the little head, right? So what are some exercises some of these guys can do? What are some strategies they can implement right away to try and start exercising that control and create that discipline?
Well, the first one, like I said, if you're constantly watching porn, just stop watching it, because your mind, like I said, it's almost like now you're treating a woman like an object. Like, I need those things in order just for a release. It's just you're objectifying. And I'm also going to say on this channel, women do that to themselves a lot. They put on all this. Yeah, they're on Instagram and all this. So I look cute, and they're in a stupid bathroom with the duck face. So, if I tell men, if you completely remove your attention away from all of social media, all women would stop doing that. All women would stop. Most of these models wouldn't even exist because there's no audience. Right. There's no attention. There's no way for them to monetize that. So limit your attention. Stop simping is really what I'm getting at. Stop hearting, liking, commenting, messaging. Yep. Keep messaging, over messaging. Stop doing all this to women you don't know. It's makes you look very weak, and also to her, she's just like, okay, you're one of probably 10 or 20 that day who's messaged her. Okay. Sure. If you're on a dating app, well, fair game, because she's on the dating app too. So if you do connect, don't automatically start going into sex. If you're really trying to, find somebody, number one, it's not going to be on a dating app for the most part, especially, well, I would say like Tinder,
Right.
some of these lower apps that are kind of like a hookup site. Maybe some of the other dating apps are, you can find somebody. I don't know. I'm not on them. But at its core is just taking that energy that you have, that sexual energy you have, and redirecting it to become a positive in your life. Get to the gym. Stop touching yourself. Start reading. Join different clubs that are out there. Volunteer. Take all of this negative, this energy that you have, and just refocus it into stuff that's going to make you better, make society better. You're also, if you're out in these clubs or if you're out in these different events, well, guess who goes to these events? Women. So if you like dogs, let's just use that, you like dogs and you're at an event to raise money for a local kennel, and there's a pretty girl there, well, you guys have something in common. You're clearly both there. So you might get higher quality women just going to these different events and giving up your energy, and then you just run into somebody and then a spark happens and then you're talking to them. So sitting behind your computer, right, sitting behind your computer, swiping right, messaging, hearting, all you're doing is wasting time. You're not really connecting with anybody. So getting out there, it's about refocusing that energy into something positive.
Yeah, no, I like to equate that to sales too. Like one of the biggest things that I got when I started getting into sales was everybody's like, you got to read The Game by Neil Strauss. And I'm like, it's not like a dating book though. And everybody's like, well, it's the same principles. It's exactly what you're trying to do exactly when you get into sales and stuff too. And it really helped me understand like relationships and relationship building and stuff from there too. Because it's big. It's bigger than just between men and women. Like it's really your relationship to the greater world and the people around you, your friends, your family, all that stuff. And like, it really is just kind of how the brain works. That's why marketing works as effectively as it does too. It's like all this stuff really just, it rewires your brain, just like you talked about. And so that's one of the big things is like, once you stop focusing on all that stuff the wrong way, start focusing on exactly, who you want to be, like, first of all, and then start focusing on exactly what lifestyle you want to be living. And does the current life you're living right now match that lifestyle? Does the current person you are right now match that person? Because that's the stuff that you're trying to move towards. And that's exactly what a lot of these programs are even based around, is like really just helping you identify those things first. Who do you want to be? Where do you want to be? What do you want to be doing? Those are some of the key things exactly when you get into life coaching or any kind of coaching, really, because that's really what should be driving you. And so as long as those things are driving you in life, then none of this other stuff, like going out there and simping on all these girls across social media, like they'll take it happily. They're all over the place. But at the end of the day, like, is that really your purpose? Is that really why you're here? And so that's all you really need to know in order to get on the right track, right?
Yeah. Like I said, your purpose as a man should be to leave this world better than what you found it. So maybe that would be, having children and passing on your knowledge, and obviously your wife or your, whoever you have the children with, passing on so that they become better versions of you. I mean, that's really one of our main things to guide our kids. It's also to contribute. So if you're just out there, it just goes to so many different things. If you're just out there living through your small head, it's just a life not worth living. And a lot of guys, and like I said, myself included, I've done that. I've gone down that road. I mean, we probably all have, but there comes a time where it's like, okay, enough is enough. I need to stop doing these things in order to, better myself and better my surroundings. So you mentioned something where I think this is why we work well together, is because you're inherently into business, marketing, sales, things like this. And really coaching, it's the same thing the sense is we're all salesmen and saleswomen. The only people without in jobs is like if you're in government, you're just a taker. You're not selling anything. But for the
100%.
most of the civilians, you're in sales. So you have a brand. Everybody has a brand. The brand is you. I don't care if you work as a real estate agent for whatever company, it's still you. Yes, you're underneath their umbrella, but you're still the brand. I don't care if you're a salesman working for a dealership. You have to create those relationships. You have to cultivate them and get your own leads and get that going. How is it that if you're out there sleeping around with everybody you see or being thirsty and everybody knows who you are, that's your brand? Oh, he's a simp. Well, that brand, this guy, he's a player. This guy, he lives at his mom's house and, all he does is live for the weekends. That's your brand. That you created that. So that's the thing guys need to understand is if you're always wondering why does this guy have it better than me? Why is this guy more successful? Why does this guy have the hot girls? Because he created that. And you can too. That is one of the powers of coaching is to help you recreate your life. And I do it all the time. And it's not just with guys. I will say I do help women. It's just on a case-by-case basis. If I feel that you're going to be better served with a different coach that maybe has better skill set, then I'm going to refer you to that. But if you're dealing with relationships and you're a woman, you want a guy's perspective, well, then, hop on a call. I'll tell you everything you need to know. Very simple. But, it's branding. All of us have an image and a brand, and we all have to fight like hell to protect it. And we all have to fight like hell to push it up, elevate it. And so one wrong move, dating the wrong girl or sleeping with that one wrong girl who gives you an STD, your brand just got ruined. Or dating a girl who's batshit crazy and she's blabbing to everybody about this. This is how brands get ruined.
Right.
So you have to protect whatever you created. And if you create garbage, well, you're going to get garbage.
Garbage in, garbage out. Yep.
It is Gigo. Yeah. So that's just the thing. A lot of guys got to leave with this is what, if you're not happy in your life, you created that. 100%. You created that. Yeah. There might've been some situations outside of your control, but by and large, the reason where you are in life is because of what you have done or what you have not done.
Right.
And if you're ready to take that level, if you're ready to take that next step and level yourself up, jump on a call with me. It's free. It's about an hour. It's not recorded. You're not going to have to feel like I'm not going to bash, you're not going to go live, any of that stuff. It's 100% just you and I. I'm going to ask you some questions, some very hard-hitting questions. My job is not for you to like me. I don't care. My job is to get to the core of what it is you're going through, where you are, where do you want to go, and how do you get there? Those are the three questions I ask everyone. Where are you right now? Where do you want to go? How do you get there? My job is to help you get there. Plain and simple. So,
100%. Yep.
So seriously, if you're a guy that any of this is resonating with, or if you're a girl who this is resonating with you, then get on a call. Let's see if we're a good fit so we can start working together to help level you guys up.
And so that's the big thing too with this community is that like Jerod said, we have a lot of different coaches that are part of this. And so we can always refer you to the right place. And so no matter what you feel like you're struggling with, we've got help for you. And we've got a community based around this stuff too. And so we've got the links below. We have the video that this topic was covered on just last week. I'll have that link below. There's also a link to join our Facebook group. Get inside there. And that's where you can actually follow us and then go to the website, sign up for our newsletter, for our announcements and all that stuff too, because we're going to have a lot of different courseware and different types of communities and stuff coming out in here in the near future too, where we're going to have a lot more help for you guys, a lot more value, and ways to kind of spark discussions around the different topics that we've covered so far too. And so stay tuned. We'll also be live every single week. That'll be announced beforehand next week too. So show up for that live, ask your questions. We're always here for you guys. So
yeah,
thanks guys. Really appreciate it.
Thanks guys. Thanks, Chase.
See you, Jerod.